Om Sri Sai Ram. Prathama Vandana Gauri Nandana. Prathama Vandana Gauri Nandana. He Shivanandana Pahi Gajanana. हे शिवनन्दन पाहि गजानन प्रथमवन्दना गौरी नन्दन. Om Sri Sai Ram. Only universal minds can solve universal problems. The selfish, the small, the self-centered minds cannot solve even their own personal problems. They cannot even comprehend the issues of national or international importance. They all are playing blind game. It is all blind leading the blind. Nobody actually knows what they are going to lose and what they are going to find. It is all blind leading the blind. The world today lacks an enlightened leadership. Selfish minds are foolish minds. Ravana had all the knowledge, all of Vedas, Shastras. But because he was selfish, Valmiki calls him, and even Swami used to address him as Murkhudu, foolish one. Selfishness is foolishness. It is stupidity of highest order. When there is one residing in all, where is the question of being selfish and foolish? But today we are programmed by the modern education to constantly live in that frog in the well syndrome. We operate in that dim light. They say the blind ones and the wise ones are equally harmless. It is half blind and half wise that are dangerous. Today's leadership in every sphere all over the world they are functioning and operating 24/7 in selfishness, self-interest, self-centeredness. And they do not know what is the self. That is the funniest part of it. Self-confidence, Swami says, is confidence in the self, your own highest, noblest, and truest self. You can't have confidence in something which itself is not stable. How can you have confidence in your body or in your mind? Body is, Swami says, like a water bubble. Any moment it can go. Mind is like a mad monkey. And all our achievements, all our entire game is being played around this body consciousness, body, mind, intellectual complex. Isn't it? We are playing the blind game. At least the leadership should be enlightened. Because Swami says you are what your mind is. If your mind is bad, then no religion, no situation is good enough for you. But if your mind is good, then there is no situation, no religion bad for you. If your mind is enlightened, if your hearts are enlightened, you will function and operate in the light of God, in love of God. Love is the light of God. How can we avoid it? How can we ignore it? How can we underestimate its power? If we can love sufficiently enough, intensely enough, selflessly enough, and fearlessly enough, we could be the most powerful persons in the world. Love is the purpose of this creation. Any moment for anything, if we are living our lives devoid of love, the universal love. Because for mind to be selfless, for love to be selfless, it has to be universal and it has to be limitless. That light of love will enlighten our hearts and minds. Who wants to work in darkness? Who wants to work in dim light? Why? The avatar has descended for this very purpose. He says, I have come to light the lamp of love in every human heart and mind. Because the humanity has forgotten to love. We have chosen by our own foolish acts and foolish thoughts, selfish acts and selfish thoughts, the path to self-destruction. The Lord has come for that very purpose. At least we should be humble enough and wise enough to recognize, to acknowledge, and to accept His word as His command and follow it implicitly. How dare we even fear or hate anyone for anything, even for a moment, if we call ourselves devotees of Lord, any God, especially so with this incarnation. We claim to be His devotees, His followers. That is why He gave me one beautiful poem, The Complaints of Lord. You call me beloved, but love me not. You call me master, but follow me not. We don't live our own faith. No external enemy, no external power can destroy or diminish the glory of our faith, even this bit, if we choose to live our own faith. And it is only when we fail to live our faith becomes a dead faith. And dead cannot deliver. So, to protect and promote our own faith, what all is required is that each one of us should live, at least strive to live every moment of our lives according to the human values of our own faith. Ahimsa paramo dharma. Non-violence is the highest dharma. Dharma is righteousness, Swami says. And your only right is, Swami's words, your only right is to do right. If everyone does right, then there will be no confusion. Even whatever the traffic may be, how much of the huge traffic, if every car follows its own right path, the right lane, there will be no confusion. The confusion arises when we fail to live our faith and then start blaming others for that. That is human mind. Human mind will always justify its mistakes, its foolishness. But we have to have that awareness. Because human mind presently is working in darkness, in dim light, if at all. It is not lightened or enlightened. And what can enlighten our hearts and minds? Only the light of love, only the light of our Lord. But we have to have faith in His love, His command. We are overstepping our own role play when we indulge into that self proclamations of being His messengers or His devotees or instruments. Swami says, all are my messengers, all are my instruments. All are in me and I am in all. His declaration. How can we doubt His declarations? How dare we? We are carried away by some false propagandas. Immediately our animal instincts, they come up. We want to take revenge, we want to hate, we want to kill, we want to be violent, and we justify it. Some such foolish person, he told me recently that Rama always used to carry bow and arrow with him. He was trying to impress that being courageous means being violent, to exhibit your power. Swami says, "O foolish one, Rama carried bow and arrow because that was his dharma. He was Kshatriya, it was his dharma. But nobody can say that Rama used to exhibit violent feelings even for his enemy. He had always smile on his face. His very presence, his very aura would disarm the enemy. Krishna, he would use his Sudarshana. He had power to do it. He knew when to do, what to do. We just blindly quote some scripture, something just to justify our own stupidities. Rama would kill Ravana if need be. That too at the right time, in the right manner. But he would not hate Ravana, even for a moment. Forget hating, he would not even humiliate Ravana. He respected him. He respected when he was dying. He respected him when he was waging a war against him. That is why he is Maryada Purushottam Rama. Cowards cannot be compassionate. No ways. Violence is DNA of cowards. Being violent is no sign of being courageous. Yes, you have to hit. Even you have to kill. But your killing and hitting should not be motivated by any hatred. Even the killing should be out of compassion for the enemy. That now there is no way that he can be liberated from his sins. That is why when Rama kills or Krishna kills, the enemy gets moksha, the liberation. He is not killed. And Rama and Krishna will not take any credit. They will not publicize that we have killed Ravana. When Rama came back to Ayodhya and Mother Kaushalya honored him with this, "Oh Rama, welcome. You destroyed the great, most powerful, devilish person, Ravana." He said, "No, mother, I did not kill him. His own ego destroyed him." What a beautiful example of humility and compassion. No ill feelings even for an enemy. Can anyone say that Rama was wrong in being so kind and compassionate? When God Himself has incarnated, if we believe so in His own words, let us read His Satyam Shivam Sundaram when SSSai speaks volumes. Why I incarnate? He has mentioned the situation and he has taken upon himself that I will set the entire world on the righteous path single-handedly. He told in Dharmashetra 1968 that I don't depend upon any even organization, even SSSai organization or trust or institutions. I will do it what I have come to accomplish single-handedly. How does he need anybody's support? Yes, of course, we all are his instruments, we all are his messengers, we all are equally and essentially divine. But no one can claim to be special. No one can be claimed to be a chosen one unless he decides to choose with his own word of mouth. Once my dear friend S. Gurumurthy, great devotee of Swami, a very noble person, he told me himself in an express house, Bangalore. We used to sit for whole nights together to discuss national issues. He himself revealed to me that once he got an interview with Swami and he took out some file and tried to explain to Swami the situation at the borders and how the enemies from this country or that enemy country are trying to come and harm our own nation. And he wanted Swami to bless. Swami looked at everything and he said, I know. Now having showed me everything and told me everything, you be assured that I will take care. You don't do anything. You don't have to do anything. When Lord Himself is taking responsibility, how do we? I don't know what prompts us to believe that we are the doers. When Hanuman was flying over Ayodhya, carrying that mountain for Lakshmana, who was unconscious at the battlefield, Shatrughan saw a stranger going across towards that region. So he put an arrow at him and he shot him down. And then Hanuman introduced himself and narrated the situation that Lakshmana is unconscious, Mother Sita is abducted by Ravana, and Rama is alone. So I have to go and carry this as a medicine is on this mountain. Then Shatrughna got impulsive. He told Bharata, brother, we all must take our army and go and help our brother. He is in great trouble. That was a normal reaction of any normal person. But Bharata was enlightened. That is the difference between an enlightened leadership and an unenlightened or half enlightened leadership. Bharata said, Shatrughan, do you think Rama needs us? If he wants, with one arrow, he could kill Ravana wherever he is. If he is, and he knew that Hanuman will be passing through this, he could send message with Hanuman. Instead of going to Himalaya, he could send a message for our help. But he did not. So we must not interfere in his plan. There has to be some divine plan. We must not interfere in his plan. What he has decided, he will do. That is enlightened leadership. When Krishna appeared in jail of Sri Aurobindo, Krishna told him, I can get the things done even through donkeys. Aurobindo Ghosh had this idea that he is a great freedom fighter and his mother nation is in trouble and he should do everything to bring freedom to this country. Krishna says, that is not your job. I will do it. Bharat is my responsibility. That is what Swami told the former Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji and Advani ji. They revealed to me personally. Swami told them, Bharat is my responsibility. Safety and security of this country is in hands of Sai. Don't worry. But he knows how to play the game. We do not know his game. We think we know because we are half blind. We are half wise and equally half foolish. He knows his game. We got to have trust in his wisdom. Trust in his wisdom means trust in his timings. That is why Shirdi Sai said, Shraddha and Saburi. We all have Shraddha, but very few have that Saburi, the patience. Trust in his wisdom, trust in his timings. They say it is very easy to make curds out of milk. Just warm the milk to some little temperature and then put spoon of curd, stir it, and the curd is made. But it is not as simple as that. One foolish son, when he was about to leave for his job and he had to live alone there, so he wanted to learn how to make curds at least, so he could have at least curd rice every day. So his mother told him, just warm the milk and put little curd and then stir it. That's it. And it will be ready. So he warmed the milk, put the spoon of curd in it and kept on stirring it the whole night. Because in every 1 hour he would see if the curd is made or not. After putting the curds, after stirring it little, you have to keep it. That is saburi, patience. There is a process which doesn't need our intervention or our interference. That is his drama, his script. We have to only follow his command. We don't have to follow our minds, our likes and our dislikes. That is what Krishna told Aurobindo Ghosh. Tomorrow when you appear in the court, you will not open your mouth. The moment you open your mouth, you will be in trouble. And Aurobindo Ghosh himself has written, when he went there in the court, he saw the judge as Lord Krishna, the prosecutor as Vishnu. And when he was questioned, so long as he was silent, everything was going in his favor. The moment he opened his mouth, he was in trouble. Surrender and shut up. Ramana Maharshi. Surrender and shut up. We all want to surrender, but none of us wants to shut up. We want to play, it is a game of mind. Our mind wants to play its game. It is mischievous mind. Some used to call one great religious leader mischievous mongers. Our mind enjoys being mischievous. But Swami, his command is very clear. Even if you want to do some mischief or some fun, be sure it does not hurt or harm anyone. Here I remember a beautiful story of our Sadhu Vaswaniji. It is mentioned that once he was going with his in a garden with some small kids, and there were some elderly persons who were doing yoga and some morning walk, and their shoes were there in the corner in a perfect line. So these children, they thought of mischief. What they thought, they would put some small frogs or insects inside the shoes, so that when the elderly people come to wear their shoes, they get the shock and they all will have a fun at their cost. Sadhu Vaswaniji called them. He said, no, if you want to make fun, I will tell you how to make fun. He gave them one coin each. You put this coin in their shoes. When they put their foot in the shoes, they will feel that coolness, some strange thing. Of course, they'll jump with shock or surprise. But when they open it up, when they remove the coin, they'll be so delighted. Even your mischief, your fun should make others laugh or bring delightfulness. You should not hurt or harm anybody in fun also. This is sign of true spiritual aspirant. How can you hurt or harm anyone, even in your thought, knowing and claiming that all are in one and He is in all? That is the beauty of this avatar. Live your faith. If you truly believe, दीन दुखियों से प्रेम करो, एक दूजे से प्रेम करो, मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा. If we want to make our Lord Sai happy with us, at least these two things we must not do, because they are anti-God, anti-Sai. Sai is love, and hate is lovelessness. Fear is lovelessness. Never entertain or spread anything which may create fear or hatred in your mind or anyone else's mind. About anything, about any person or community or religion or nation. It is not our business. The leaders, Swami used to say, leaders have become dealers. They will deal with each other. They have secret dealings. We will never know. Why should we hate anybody as enemy or anything? They will compromise in some air-conditioned star hotel. They will come to each other, birthday parties, and enjoy 5-star treatments with each other. There will be ceasefire one day, because their purpose is only political purpose, nothing else. But there will be no ceasefire in our minds once we start this hatred business and fear business. We should not pollute our minds, because hatred hardens our hearts and darkens our minds. Love lightens our hearts and brightens our minds. Fear freezes our hearts, diseases our minds. Fear freezes our hearts and it diseases our minds. Faith softens our hearts and sweetens our minds. Compassionate softens our heart and sweetens our minds. Cowards cannot be compassionate minds. No ways. It is courageous minds that can be compassionate and creative. Cowards are always calculating minds, conspiring minds. because they lack self-confidence. Let us be courageous, the soldiers of Sai. And Swami says, unite to serve. We must unite to serve. To serve means to love in action. To serve is to love in thought, in words, in deeds, in action, in reaction. That is seva, seva, seva. And the purpose of this avatar is to light the lamp. If at all we have this idea of helping God in His mission, the only help, if at all we can do, is allow Him to light the lamp of love in each and every heart. And spread His love, radiate His love, imbibe His love. We cannot give what we do not have. But recently I discovered there is one thing we can give we may not have. We ourselves may not be happy sometimes, but at least we can give happiness to somebody who needs our help. Is it not? Normally we cannot give what we do not have. But there is one exception to this. Even if a rich man is most unhappy person at any point in time, and if he shells out something, some big money to somebody who actually needs it, at least he can make that person happy. You may not be happy yourself, you can make others happy. Be happy, make others happy, God will be happy with you. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय जय जय।